Hello there guys, today we'll be diving into USS San Diego, the ship that you can currently earn for free by participating in the campaign missions that are really not that hard. All you have to really do is follow the secondary task and the main task. Anyhow, what is USS San Diego? In the reality, USS San Diego was Atlanta class light cruiser, one of the most decorated US ships in World War II, and you can also make it one of the most decorated ships of your own in your port World of Warships as well. San Diego is basically an up-tiered Atlanta, it's tier 8 Atlanta class, with a couple quirks to her part. First of all, you do not have HE shells, you have SAP instead, so you're armed with SAP and AP, which for a light cruiser might sound a little bit bad, but hear me out. SAP shells on this caliber 127mm allows you to run the heavy sub perk without any penalty, making it so that you can actually get, well, just straight up 10% increase on your damage. Ship, in comparison to the standard clan down tier 7 that had it a really nerfed, has itself pretty good one, especially since you have your def AA here with upgraded continuous damage buff. Normally defensive AA gives 50% damage to DPS, it gives plus 100%, so it's basically the same as it is on the destroyers. You also have ability to use main battery reload booster. That's a little bit nerfed. It's not minus 50%, it's minus 33. We have the standard hydro and normal heal. Main battery range is not really that impressive. It's basically 15 kilometers, but we don't really care about that since we're not gonna be sitting in the back. Torpedo tubes, we have only two, one per side, 4.5 kilometers, so basically last ditch defense. With concealment of 9.3, we can make some moves around that. Ship itself is okay in terms of mobility, so we don't need to cry over there. We basically have a tier 8, little bit nerfed Austin. Armor wise, well, it's still just the Atlantic class. We have standard 16mm everywhere, with Citadel being actually pretty well shaped, with the 89mm exposed part in the middle, allowing us to actually bounce some shells, but not really everything. What can we use to our advantage is exactly the lack of armor, but that a little bit later. Let's quickly go over captain skills and modules before we move on to the playstyle of San Diego. First, for equipment, there is really nothing special there, we just go for the standard ones: concealment, propulsion, accuracy of main battery. Flags, definitely take the HP one. You can take actually anything else apart from it that you want, you don't really need them, but well, it's up to you. For commander, we basically go for standard adrenaline rush, concealment, superintendent. SE is basically mandatory on this cruiser. We go for heavy HE and sub shells because we take no penalty, like mentioned before. You don't want to invest in fire chance at all because you don't really have it. You don't even have secondary guns. You don't really need a priority target because you well know that you're gonna be shot at when you're playing Atlanta class. What I recommend instead is taking incoming fire alert, since well, you're gonna have ability to time the dodges a little bit better. Okay, so what's with the playstyle of Atlanta? Well, actually, San Diego. I'm gonna keep calling it Atlanta, I don't know why. Ship itself really likes to be close, but safe at the same time. What do you mean by that? Well, we don't want to sit in the back somewhere and play on open waters like other cruisers do. What we want to do is go close, but find ourselves a very nice island to shoot over with. This way we maximize our TPM because we can sit relatively close to many targets, so if one goes dark or dies, we can instantly switch to other one, whilst mitigating the disadvantage of having a low range, and our armor that really is lacking is gonna have a great improvement of having indestructible island in between us and the opponents. However, this little cruiser is not the one that is afraid of, well, taking a little bit of damage. Since we have SAP shells and the main battery reload booster, we can use it to support our destroyers. For example, you can ask your destroyer to set you up a smoke screen and we go engage a cap together. You don't really have ability to spot an enemy DD, but if your DD is gonna be spotting for you, you don't really have that big fire in the smoke penalty to be detected instantly, so basically free trade for your destroyer if you place right. If he doesn't, however, you still can brawl stuff at close range. And how exactly are you supposed to approach it? Well, you need to remember that having no armor is very often an advantage in this game. And why is that? It's because on close range, battleships and heavy cruisers might just have too much pen to actually arm on you and just gonna overpen your whole ship, making so that you take borderline no damage while you pump them up with SAP that doesn't bounce. But if they give you broadside, you also have AP shells, meaning that you can still hurt them a lot and you can actually citadel most of the cruisers that are on this tier. Don't also forget that you have torpedoes and you can really piss somebody off by pushing like that. So this is a very special cruiser that many probably forgot about throughout the years, but now since it's basically for free, I think it's high time to remind ourselves about its existence. Okay guys, to have the tradition meet, let's actually analyze one San Diego game. I used San Diego a lot in the ranked games, so we're just gonna take that one as an example. So first of all, I've noticed that there are no DDs in this matchmaking. Instead, there's one carrier per team. And well, since everyone from my team decided to go to the A side, well, I kind of had to go and cap the contested C cap. My plan was to either get this cap myself if there was no enemies, or to try to brawl friends out with whatever they send this way. I've already noticed that they've committed all of their battleships to B, so it's pretty safe that there's not gonna be something to one-shot me if I go bowing. However, I quickly noticed that they're not only sending all of their battleships, but everyone from B to A push, which is, well, generally a pretty good strategy, but they forgot that they're facing me. I use those islands and the fact that the enemies are distracted to farm them basically for free before, well, I would have to actually commit. We've lost 2 ships in the middle very fast, which is really bad for our team, and basically lost us the whole control in the middle. I try to farm 3 damage whenever possible, like Massachusetts, since his guns are not pointing towards me, I can basically sit here. After Massachusetts died, I've noticed that most of the enemies are actually pushing for the channel and not really gonna be focused on me and looking at me. So the only one that I actually have to fight is the aircraft carrier and the tunnel. And this is where our A actually, well, shines. And this brawl with Tone, I know that he doesn't really overmatch me, so basically the safest bet is to go Bowen and turn into the last second to torp him out. Which he fell brilliantly for this trap. Next, I saw the Bayad actually came back, so I had to well, fight him with the caution that the CV is also gonna be dropping me, and their battleship is definitely gonna shoot at me. So I turned myself into the kiting position, so it's easier for me to dodge stuff, since well, we are still a light cruiser, we're still pretty maneuverable. And the moment enemy Bayad was practically activated the special "I told you not to give me broadside" button, and we blasted him out. Our aircraft carrier managed to kill enemy battleship on the way, so we're just left with clock and an enemy aircraft carrier. Unfortunately, our Kaga is too dense to put fighters for us to see enemy aircraft carrier permanently. It's not even to like protect us, it's mostly to spot them. Who I think I am, I'm only like top 50 Kaga EU. What do I know about playing Kaga, right? Anyhow. Our AP doesn't really get enough pen to get through to the Shokaku Citadel, because that ship actually has pretty well armored Citadel. But it doesn't matter, since we're still dealing damage, and they really cannot deal with us, since well, we are too maneuverable to be hit with torps, and bombs will probably overpen us, and we have great AA. This is how basically to carry with San Diego. So to sum things up, San Diego is a ship with explosive personality. And one small cruiser that really wants to get personal with other ships. Treat her well, and you're gonna grind those achievements in your game like nothing else. Getting high calibers, Confederates, DFA experts, all over the place. But if you play it wrong, you're gonna very fast notice that this ship is not for newbies. And you're gonna realize fast why I told you that this ship has explosive personality. Anyway, if you like this short guide for USS San Diego, consider liking and subscribing this video or sharing it to your friends. It's been Senpai Silent, see you next time. Bye.